Look at what the Bible says in Proverbs 1:7. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and discipline. Jeroboam did all that constructing and fortifying and building and establishing those shrines, those priests that shouldn't be priests, the golden calves, because he was living with the fear of man. He wasn't living with the fear of God. And look at what living with the fear of man led him to do. So we have a Wednesday night program that we started this past Wednesday. So it runs September through May, and it's from 6:30 to 8 o'clock. And we've got a program for our kids, first and third Wednesday of the month. And the kids had a blast. You see the pictures there. It testifies for itself. But what we're teaching the children this year, the theme is Proverbs and parables. So the first part of the year, we're going to teach them the Proverbs. And then the second part of the year, we're going to teach them about the parables of Jesus. So we started in Proverbs, and it was this passage, Proverbs 1:7, right? The one that I just had up here. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, of knowledge. And one of the things that we taught the children on Wednesday night was that to the fear of the Lord, what that means is for you to be in complete awe and to be overwhelmed by the greatness and the glory of God. We told the kids, like, imagine if your principal showed up at your house. Like, you would be like, oh man, this is like the most important person at the school is here at my house. I better make sure I behave. Let me open the door and Mr. or Mrs. Principal, have a seat right here. You can sit in my favorite chair. Right? Like if the governor showed up or the president showed up, just the office itself, recognizing that position of authority is like you're gonna be moved by that. Of the presence of that person being in the same room with you. And so the idea is that the fear of God is to acknowledge the greatness of God, the awesomeness of God, the holiness of God in your life. Then we told the kids, you want to know what's the great thing about living with the fear of God? The great thing about living with the fear of God is that you don't have to be afraid of anything else. Because you fear God. Don't have to be afraid of anything that can happen to you in your life. Because the fear of God then leads you to have faith in God. To trust in God. To say, this is number one. Everything else is number two.